Hello, it's Mr. Sarley, still in the auditorium making you videos on his planning day. Welcome to Part C. Each of these questions are at the state test level. They're in multiple choice form, so you can kind of get some practice. All right, the first problem says 2/3 minus 5/6. Whenever you're subtracting fractions, you need to make the denominators the same. This one, I see that thirds and sixths are connected. So I'm going to do 2/3, and I want to make it equivalent to a fraction out of sixth. And I can do that by multiplying 2/3 by 2/2. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 2 is 6. So now this problem gets rewritten as 4/6 minus 5/6. Sweet. Number line to the rescue. Start at 4/6. I'm going down 5/6. So I'm definitely going to stop by 0. And then I keep going for an extra sixth, and I end up at -1/6. And that's why the answer is -1/6. All right, for number 2, get over there. For number 2, again, our denominators are different and we're subtracting. So I'm just going to rewrite 1/2 as 2/4 because I can multiply by 2/2 to get an equivalent fraction. And now I'm going to rewrite this problem as -1/4 minus 2/4. Then I'm going to check this out on the number line. I'm going to put 0 up over here. I know I'm below 0, and I'm going down deeper. So I'm at -1/4, and I'm going down 2 more fourths. So I'm going further and further down away from 0. So I would get down to -3/4. And that's why the answer is D. All right. Checking out this question, I see that we have these mixed numbers. But then I look at each of my answer choices, and I see that all my answers are decimals. The state test does this a lot. They want to make sure that you can really connect fractions and decimals and switch between the two easily. So you have two options. You can solve the problem first in fraction form and then change it to decimal form, or you could change it at first to decimals and then just solve it in decimal form. And I'm going to do that second option. I'm going to rewrite these in decimal form. And I'm going to go back to a number talk we did a couple of months ago, and I'm just going to think about money. So if I have $3.50, that's the same as $3.50. So that 3 1/2 is the same as 3 50 hundredths. I'm going to bring over the subtraction sign, and now I'm going to think about this one in terms of money. 9 3/4, that's like $9 3/4, because a fourth is a quarter of a dollar. 3/4 is 75 cents, so that's like $9.75. Cool. Now I got a subtraction problem, and I'm subtracting a bigger number, so I know we're going to go below 0. So let's check that out on the number line just to make sure we're good. 350 minus 350 is 0. And then I just want to figure out what do I have left to subtract. You could do that in your head, but I want to subtract a total of $9.75, and I've already subtracted $3.50, so that means I have $6.25 left to go down. So let's go down that last $6.25, which since we're at 0 and we go down $6.25, we're at -$6.25. And this answer is right here. So the correct answer to the state test question was A. Okay, this one is a little bit trickier. So notice that the problem is a negative fraction added to a positive decimal, and then all of our answer choices are again in decimal form. So you can kind of make a choice. Do you want them both to be fractions or both to be decimals before you solve the problem? Since the answers are decimals, I'm going to change everything to decimals at the very beginning. So I have negative 7/10. I remember that tenths are the number right after the decimal point, so that actually is pretty easy. I can just write that as negative 7/10. Then I'm going to bring over the plus 15/100. The most common mistake made on problems like this is for people to think of this as a regular 7 and this as a 15. But there's a problem with that. This is 15/100. This is 7/10, right? So it's almost like you're adding fractions and the denominators aren't the same. So instead, let's think of this not as 7/10, but as 70/100, because 7/10 and 70/100 are equivalent to each other. Now it's like we're adding things with the same unit. They're both in hundredths. So now I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it on a number line. So let's do, I'm starting at negative 70/100, and then I'm going up. I'm going up 15/100. So I'm actually not going to pass 0 because I'm starting down 70 and I'm only going up 15. So as I do that, I'm just going to go up a little bit. I'm adding 15/100. And then if I think about it, I'm getting closer to 0, so the numbers are going down, right? So it's almost like 70 minus 15, and that would get us to negative 55/100. That one is definitely tricky. You need to really think about a lot of different things, and I hope it makes sense to you now. For number 5, we have negative 3/4 plus negative 1/4. Finally, the state test has given us a question with the denominators already the same. So all we really need to do now is to figure out where we're starting, and are we going up or down? And I bet that tricked some people. So we're starting at negative 3/4. I'm just going to stick that in the middle, because I don't know if I'm going up or down yet. And then it says we're adding negative 1/4. Whenever we add a negative, that's when we go back to Mr. Fredrickson in the movie Up, and we think of him adding weight. Adding a negative is the same as adding weight. And if you add weight to the balloon house, it actually makes it go down. So this is one of those cases where addition actually means we're going down. So I'm going to start at negative 3/4, which is below 0. And now I'm going to go down 1/4. And if we do that, we're getting farther and farther away from 0. And so now we're 4/4 away from 0. I come over to my answer choices. I see we don't have 4/4, but I know 4/4 is the same as a whole. And since we're below 0, it stays a negative, so it's negative 1 whole. And that means the answer is A. All right, and then 6 and 7, super quick, as long as you remember the song and the multiplication rules. 3 times negative 5, different signs. I'm getting it's negative. 3 times 5 is 15, and I keep it negative. For number 7, we're multiplying a negative times a negative. Since both the factors are negative, they have the same sign, the answer is going to be positive, and 2 times 10 is 20. So we get positive 20. All right, I'm trying to make a bunch of these homework videos, so quickly, I'm just going to make up a word that I see in the auditorium, and we're going to go piano. The secret word is piano. The gym teacher just walked past from 306, and I think he also thinks I'm insane. But I'm going to keep talking to this iPad, secretly talking to y'all, and I'll see you for part D.